Hey guys, Surgeon here with another Cigar Federation video review. Today we're going to be viewing something really special, something that's sort of near and dear to my heart. See this big bad boy? This is the Liga Manifesto. This is an event-only cigar from Drew Estate. You have to attend a Drew Estate event to get one of these cigars, and even then, they're tough to get your hands on. They come in a coffin of two. They're wrapped with tissue paper that has like a No Crown Liga Manifesto cover to it. Very, very cool, very stylish. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of this cigar. If the story is not very interesting for you, go ahead and skip ahead about a minute and a half, 2 minutes here. So in 2013, I was down on the Drew Estate Cigar Safari with none other than John Crump, who is really the founder, the co-founder of this cigar. And John Crump is a huge member of the CATS Facebook group. I got to know John on that trip. Super nice guy. And essentially how this cigar came about is John knows that JD is a huge fan, Jonathan Drew of Drew Estate is a huge fan of sort of tobacco history, and he brought along down with him this German mold, I think from like the 1800s, late 1800s. I don't know exactly, I'm sure John can clarify. At any rate, it was a huge mold. It was a 13.5 inch by 38 ring gauge mold. This cigar that I'm holding right here is 11 inches by 38 ring gauge, which is still stupid huge. At any rate, he gave them to Jonathan. What does Jonathan Drew do? Well, of course, being the great guy that he is, he ends up making a bundle of these for Jonathan Crump, or for John Crump, and for hands out singles to everyone else that's on the safari. So I got the chance to smoke. Now that was a different blend. He used a different wrapper, different filler. So this is a shorter version that sort of was born out of that. Again, it's kind of based on that, and this is a replacement for the Liga A, which was the event-only cigar prior to this. So that's kind of a little bit about the story. I was very happy to be down in Nicaragua for that, to see that happen. I actually happened to be in Nicaragua again in 2014 to see those actually hit the factory floor just before they were released, so that was kind of cool as well. But this is my first time smoking the genuine article, the Liga Manifesto. I did have a chance to smoke the Liga Crump with John Crump at the Cats Fest, I think back in 2014, which was a great experience. But we're not here to talk about the Liga Crump, we're here to talk about the Liga Manifesto. So you can see it's an enormous cigar. A lot of people have questions about the draw. A lot of people have questions about the burn. And we're here to kind of answer those. Unfortunately, it is an event-only cigar, so the downside of that is you can't buy it unless you want to hit the secondary market, eBay. But really, it's not intended to be sold. It's really intended to be a gift. It's intended to be split with somebody else. You know, that's the whole purpose of the cigar. It's an event-only cigar. At any rate, I've talked enough about the cigar. Let's get down to it. So now this guy's been sitting in my humidor since, I want to say 2014, late 2014 when I went down to Corona Cigar Company down in Orlando. There was a Drew Estate event there. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on the Liga Manifesto while I was there, which was very nice of Jonathan Drew to give me one. So let's talk about the nose here. So there's a deep, rich cedar with no spiciness to it. Just a nice, great cedar smell, no doubt because it's been sitting in the coffin the entire time. Maybe hints of leather. And then the nose, and you can see I'm going to have to hold this all the way down here to not stick it in my nose. Yeah, not much else. I'm really getting the same thing, maybe a little bit of hay out of the foot. We're going to light it. We're going to cut it with a V-cut, and I'm going to talk about this cigar. So I'm going to have to hold this cigar way back. Make sure I don't torch it at all. All right, we got a nice white ash going. Going to hold this way up. So you see it's got that little twist fan cap on it. We could just pull that off and pull the cap off, but I'm going to be safe here and use a V-cut. Draw is excellent. Initial impressions, lots of sweetness, a little bit of trailing cedar, hints of spices there. We'll do a retrohale and see what's going on in the retrohale. Retrohale's got some sort of raisin character to it, some chewy sweetness, almost molasses. Quite a bit more going on in the retrohale actually than the draw. This is going to be an interesting cigar. So obviously we've got a lot of cigar to go here, a very long cigar. I'll check back in and see how it settles in. So I'm obviously still at the start of the first third. There's a lot of cigar to go here. I'm getting a little bit of chocolate notes though, like a milk chocolate. Very subtle, but I'm also getting some pepper. So I get the chocolate, I get a little bit of pepper, Pepper lingers a little bit, but it's a light plus, so it's kind of lingering post-draw, not really taking too much of the palate over. Interesting. Coming up on the 10-minute mark, and there's a little bit of post-draw leather here that's starting to come into the mix, competing with that pepper. They're kind of mixing in together, but I think the leather has a little bit more staying power because I'm kind of tasting it post-draw, and then it's kind of carrying into the next draw to add a little bit of flavor profile there. Picking up some more notes in the first third here at the just passing the 15-minute mark. There's a sweet raisiny note that came through. Very tasty. Not much else, but there's probably about 2 hours of cigar left, so we'll check back in as the flavors continue. Long cigar is long. We're passing 50-minute mark here. Really no other profile changes to report on. There's just a lot of post-draw pepper, a lot of post-draw leather. Still get a lot of sweetness on the regular draw. A great rich spiciness with that chewy molasses on the retrohale. I mean, it's going to take me probably another 20 to 30 minutes to get out of this first third and into the middle third. So we got a long way to go. Passing the hour-and-a-half mark. First third's really winding down, getting into the middle third here. Tough to put my finger on flavor profile changes here. The spices in the retrohale have kind of stepped down a little bit more in balance, not standing out so much from the flavor profile. Still that really nice sweetness, still getting a little bit of that raisin. Still a lot of leather post-draw. I'd say the pepper that I was picking up post-draw is really sort of stepped down, so it's a little bit more subdued. But there's a lot of cigar to go. I mean, I think a lot of people have told me they've smoked this cigar in an hour and a half. I think you're probably smoking a little bit fast if you're smoking this in an hour and a half. I'm at the hour-and-a-half mark, and I'm not even at the halfway point of this cigar. I think this is going to be a 3-hour cigar. And if you really want to give this cigar its due, that's probably good smoking time. I'd say minimum 2.5 hours for this cigar. So we'll see how it progresses. Firmly in the middle third here, just coming up on the 2-hour mark. Really tasty, really enjoying this cigar. Flavor profile is kind of all coming together. It's got this rich smokiness to it, almost like a barbecue meat smokiness to it. Spices are still there, a little bit of post-draw pepper. Leather's kind of giving way a little bit now, which is nice, because I was finding the leather was really dominating that post-draw. Still some spices on the retrohale. Very enjoyable. Hitting the 2-hour and 10 mark on this Liga Manifesto. And there's a bit of peanuts coming through, which is interesting. Just adds, again, more body and more complexity here. Everything else is kind of staying the same. I'm pretty much at the halfway point here. Probably have another 45 minutes to 50 minutes left in the cigar, so lots to comment on still. Passing the 2-hour, 20-minute mark on the Liga Manifesto. Leather is back, and it's back in a big way. It's dominating the profile, dominating the post-draw, really taking over my palate. It's very thick on my palate, like really all I can taste right now is leather. But when I take a fresh draw, when I take a retrohale, again, that spiciness comes back, there's a little bit of sweetness. But I'd say the leather is almost at a medium plus here. It's very, very dominant. Still enjoying this cigar very much. As you can see, we're looking at a 2-hour 35, 2-hour 45 minute smoking time here, which I think is about right. It's an 11-inch cigar, 11-inch long, even at a 38 ring gauge, 11-inch long cigar. That's a long smoke. Another thing to comment on here on this Liga Manifesto is the amount of strength here. Don't underestimate this cigar. It's definitely in the medium to medium plus category. If I were pairing this, I would definitely want to pair it with a soda pop, maybe some rum or bourbon. I would probably have a pop on standby. Again, especially with a long smoking time, closing in on 3 hours, probably good to have a pop to pair with this bad boy. Hitting the 2-hour and 40-minute mark here, and the leather's given up again, and so it's kind of waxing and waning. Flavor profile is kind of returning to what it was, with the sweetness, the spices, a little bit of post-draw leather, a little bit of post-draw pepper. So there's a lot of cigar here. Again, it's 11 inches by 38 ring gauge, but it's a lot of cigar. I'm expecting another 20 minutes of smoking time here before this cigar finishes up. Great cigar. If you can get your hands on this at an event, I highly recommend it. Share it with a friend because there's 2 of them. Very enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed this cigar review. Make sure to check out the written review at cigarfederation.com. If you enjoy our review, give us an up thumbs, up vote, toss us a comment, and you can always email me, surgeon at cigarfederation.com. Thanks for checking it out. We'll be back next week with another Cigar Federation video review.